Hello once more. Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, the little green space frog people, whatever they are. Career mode playthrough without any mods so far. Okay, where are we? We've got a science lab in orbit of Minmus, which needs a lot more battery power in order to transmit its science home. We have done a flyby of Eve, and it's out of communications range, so that is what that is. And yeah, so what we need to do is we need to go back to Minmus. We need to give that space station a chunk more power. As usual, look at the missions we've got. We have a flag on Minmus and psi data from the surface. So we want to go back, land, and get away with it. And then we've also got go orbit Eve and come back. Now that's the interesting one. I'm going to save that for another episode. What we're going to do is these Minmus ones. So we need to go into here and we need to recreate or adapt the lander we have. So here's the X4. Now this is a modified version. This has got this on the top. Now this is stuffed full of batteries with a couple of docking ports. Okay. Now I tried flying this and it actually performed worse than the previous one. Yeah, go figure. Now what I've done since then, however, is upgrade the launch pad. And the reason I did that was so I can put a bigger first stage in here. So what we're going to start with is one of the Rockomax tanks. I'm going to stick an extra little bit underneath it. I'm going to give that a mainsail. Like that. And what we're then going to do is strap two honking great boosters onto the side of that. Use the hydraulic manifold because that's a slightly larger one. And these boosters are going to be basically another pair of these things with another pair of mainsails on the bottom of them. Now that's... have a little look at what we've got here. 4,000 odd Delta V. It's not amazing. What I can do... where's that? That's sea level... Ding, 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 ding. So, basically this bit here is what's got to get us into orbit. That leaves that as a kick stage to get us where we're going. So, yeah. So let's have a little look. Aero. I need... don't have a big cover, so I've just got that one for the boosters. Structural. We're going to need some... struts, because we're going to need some struts, and frankly the chances of this thing flying without needing struts is pretty much minimal. So I'm going to do that to there like so. Now that should be enough. Let's have a look at what it says. Nearly 2 off the pad, and that'll do. Now we can get more performance out of this because we can we could use asparagus staging. I'm not going to at this point. Basically, I want to see how this goes without doing it. Right, we're going to have some launch clamps that look like that because I think that looks quite nice. Okay, save that. Check who's on board. Jeb, Bob. Well, we are going down to the surface. Oh, this is the idea. The mission profile, such as it is to go in and dock to the space station, drop that off, come away from the space station, land, do science, and then come back. So let's see how it works. So the pad itself is now at its full size. So what this means is we can now build rockets as big as we like and as heavy as we like. The constraints now are we can't have more than 255 parts. And I don't think that's ever been a problem. I've never built anything with more than 255 parts. I've had a computer that a game could load, so yeah. So grab a screen grab of that. I'll see you in orbit. Okay, here we are in orbit. Yes, I'm quite pleased with how that booster performed. Mun over there. Not that we're going to Mun, we're going to Minmus. So let's find Minmus, which is of course in the awkward space. We are going to go to the descending node, which I can then do that with. So again, this is about lining us up to make the manoeuvre a bit more easy. What you'll notice here now, with a bit of luck, is this stage which has the job of transferring us out to Minmus, breaking us into Minmus orbit if necessary and what have you. Basically, you should really be doing everything prior to the landing. It may get dumped and we'll do the final bits of the docking and the approach without it, just because this ship is a bit cumbersome with it. But there we go. So that's going to give us a warp to the node. 36-second burn, so T minus 18. Jeb is busy going to be flying this one again, holding us on the appropriate angle. So we shall do this, and then we will go and find the path to Minmus. We've done this bit before, so I'm going to speed up, and I'll catch you when we are at Minmus. Okay, here we are in Minmus orbit. We have a little bit of inclination stuff to deal with, so I'm going to do that as we go around. There we go, that'll do. 25, yeah, that's not much. And that's that one. And basically this will just get us in. Now this has actually worked out quite nicely. 143 left over. This little burn is going to take a little bit of it. We should be able to match orbits reasonably well. Not brilliantly, but reasonably well with this fuel system. What we can then do is ditch the big tank. We've then got a much more nimble craft for the final docking. So, yeah. I'm just going to do this as a slightly slower. Get rid of that. What are we at? 1 degree. Yeah, that'll do. I'm not too fussed with that. So, to there. Excuse me. And drop the outer side of the orbit a little bit. Now the station's pretty circular, so actually this doesn't matter too much. If the station's orbit was more of an ellipse, I'd be adjusting at the appropriate points. I'm going to stop there. Yeah, we're then going to go round to drop the rest of the orbit here. And once I've got this roughly circular, I can play around with it a little bit more. And we'll go space station hunting. Now at the moment I'm not too bothered about where this closest approach thing goes. I am aiming to try and get the approach round on the daylight side, however, if I can, which I may or may not be able to do. Doesn't massively matter. Right, we're now going to go around here. See, at the moment he's pulling away from us, so we need to drop our orbit inside a little bit so that we start to catch the target, not the other way round. Just purely because otherwise it's going to take forever. And there's no massive rush involved here. That'll do, and then when we get to the descending node again, I am going to correct that again just slightly. Very, very slightly. 52 meters per second of fuel left over in this thing. The craft itself is actually a bit more responsive now as well because the weight has dropped. I mean, it would sort of be nice to dock with this thing attached and then transfer the excess fuel to the other pod, but I'd rather drop it when it's not too close if I can. And here I'm going to wait for this node to actually be at the node. There we go, 0.3, that'll do. Now we are going to close slightly on them. So I'm going to do that. Now we're going to follow him. We are just gaining a little bit at a time. I could adjust the orbits so that we gain a bit more quickly, but yeah, whatever. So anyway, I will see you when we are at the rendezvous point. So now what we've done, I've set the target to be this docking port here on the side. So we're going to wait until I'm sort of in line with that and then slow down and we'll point in. I'm controlling from this docking port, which means the distances are between the two ports, which is again something I want. And I'll say hello to, I think it's Herman, who's back aboard this thing, and say, look, see, we didn't completely abandon you, we just nearly did. And to be honest, if we hadn't cocked up on the station design, I wouldn't be coming towards you now. Yes. Anyway, never mind. So that's that bit. Now I could go in from here with just the RCS. I'm not going to, but I could. So line up like that. That. go up a little bit. And this again is to get us sort of above the target point, like that there, like that. Right, let's point at the target. See, we're not very far away from it now at all, really. So we need to go like this here. I need to rotate so that my controls do what I'm expecting them to. So I think, don't know, is that right? That seems to be about right. Okay, so let's do that. Now I want to check I'm pointing vaguely at the thing. I am. RCS on. And now we are a little bit bulky here. Give it a little bit of juice forwards. Not much, just a little bit. Now that should see us dock. We'll find out in a minute. Hopefully it does. We're coming in. We're coming in on a sort of slightly weird angle, but we are coming in, I think, to line up. Again, the key here is the yellow prograde marker and the pink target marker are essentially aligned. We shall find out in a sec, because we'll either dock or we'll bounce off. There we are, docked. Hey, look at that. Kill RCS. We've used hardly any fuel, which is nice. Lights off, lights on, because then everybody gets lights, which is good. Right. What we now do, while this thing is attached, is no antenna. I'm guessing. Yeah, we just need to wait a little while. Go around into sunlight, or at least and something like sunlight where we can see Kerbin. There we are. You can see what we're doing. Right. Transmit science. Now this is going to use up... okay. Transmit science. Not enough electric charge. There is... right. There we go. Panels out. The station has its panels as well. So why is nothing charging? Direct sunlight, that's blocked there, direct sunlight. Right, okay, we are now charging power. Not quite sure how we'd not charged power there, but never mind. Given those batteries on the nose should have been full pretty much from the off, but anyway, never mind. Going to fully charge everything. And we're going to beam all that lovely science back. The reason I'm going to beam all that science back is I want a few more sensors on the craft that goes to Eve. Right, there we are, just about full. Grab hold of that. Transmit science. There we go. So we shall watch this disappear. But that'll send us back. Basically, the lab, it can store 500 science, and when it gets to that, it stops working. So you have to transmit more back. But as you see, we've still got 260 odd data left. So Hudson will carry on working quite nicely. We've still got full tanks in the ship. Now the staging appears to have gone screwy. This is because these are the station is at state 0 where those manoeuvring engines are. So we shall see what happens. We are going to do the landing mission and the return mission, however, before I look at Eve. Eve will be the next video. We will go send something to Eve, which has got to come back again. Now, that's probably going to involve an upgrade either of the tracking station or putting a bigger antenna on it. Because it's coming back, it could well be a crewed mission. It could be a probe, but might be a crewed flight. It's just a little bit easier to play around with. So you see, here we are. Ding! Look at that. So how much science have we got now? 600. That's lots. I like 600 science. Right. So, undock. Reaction control on and back away. And there we are. Now that space station has now gained a little power module as well, so in future it will work quite nicely. Right. Kill RCS because we don't need it. Surface thrusting like that. And now we need to work out where we want to land. Now we've already landed on this ocean bit here, so I don't want to do that. What I might do is one of these over here. Or possibly this one here, depending on what's going on. They are all... I think these little ones here are part of this. This here is its own thing, though. So what I'm going to do is... go there. Whee! Round we come. See, the station's now pulled away a little bit. Now what we're going to do is... I need to work out which one of these it is that does it. But actually, we're pretty much over what I want to get to anyway. Oh, we're over. Well, we're over one of the other ones, so don't need to do that. What I need to do is this. And that's where we're going to land. There. So come there, surface landing. This is where we're coming down. Deploy the little feet because we need the little feet. Put that on radar and away we go. Whee! Down we go, down we go, down we go, down we go. So here we are. Right, once again I will see you on the surface. Because this takes a few minutes. And there we are, on the surface of Minmus again. Quite like landing on Minmus. It's one of these places that it's just fun to go to. Right, crew report. Great Flats this time. So we've not done the Great Flats yet. So we shall go and do a little bit more science. Now again, of course, we've got the the ground station to drop off, which will keep feeding us back more science as well. Log temperature. Keep an eye on this mystery goo. There's just some weird stuff. Yeah, that'll do for that. Right. So, and once again, it is going to be the science type who gets the joy of going outside. Hopefully Bob won't get himself stuck in the interstage section this time. Because to be honest, that was a little bit silly last time. But anyway, never mind. So, crunch. Right. What we're going to do is drop off the the ground equipment first. So, parachute into there, that into there. And get hold of that. He's going to come over here and go kadink. He's then going to get hold of one of those. And go kadink. There are... Yay! Why is he? That's better. I'm trying to work out why he was going that way when I was pressing the key to make him move in the exact opposite direction. Never mind. Right. Yep, jump. Wrong key. Get up, you fool. Right. So, drop that down. Pick up that one. Over here a little bit and put that one down. Right, there you go. You can have your jetpack back and your parachute. Not that I've ever actually used the parachutes. I don't think I've ever had a Kerbal get out, so to speak. I've had a couple of Kerbals get out and push. I mean, they sort of say they reckon you've not played this game until you've got to the point where you're in orbit, nearly like 0.5 meter per second or something away from orbit, and it's just like, right, get the Kerbal out, stick him on the back, and he can push. So this is great flats. We'll do that. We're going to take a surface sample, because that's the other thing we can do. And yeah, he's quite happy with that, is he? And that's it. So yeah. So we come back here, line up like that. Look up. There's no point resetting all of the science experiments because we're about to leave the module with them all in behind. So we'll go up, 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 forwards, grab. Whee, look at that. And it's done what it sometimes does, which is quite annoying, so I'll let go again and we fling off. Sometimes you can climb up a bit further, sometimes you can't. And we can't do anything while he's flying until he's landed. Which is slightly annoying, but there we go, it is what it is. Right. Go walk home again. Sometimes it's easier to use the jetpack to do this, but I'm not too fussed. This, again, this little science station thing we've dropped off will quite happily keep working and transmitting. It won't transmit huge amounts, but it'll transmit enough. So it's up, up, forwards, up, up a little bit, forwards, up, grab, board. There we are. Everybody's back on board. Done. So we have switched those engines off, so nothing's going to happen there. Let's go home. Don't need to go back to the space station now. We can just go home. Yeah. Yes, we can leave our little ground station there behind. It's got some power, so it'll continue to have its little lights on for a little while. Nothing too serious. We're going to get the apoapsis up to about 20 again, or maybe 30. And we're going to go home. So, I'm going to fast forward the rest of this, and I will see you back at the Space Centre. And here we are, back at the Space Centre. We now have 720 science. And not that, I want to go in and grab all of the bits. All of the bits are needed. What does this place cost to upgrade? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Because we're going to Eve with something, that up to full power is useful. What have we got in here? Flag on Mun, flag on Minmus, yada yada yada. And active. The big one here is Explore Eve. Go there, come back. That is going to be the next video. So until then, I will bid you all a farewell. We will come back, we will spend some of this science, we will build a ship, and we will go to Eve. Although not to land, because that's scary. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Likes, comments, shares, yada 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 as usual. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you very much, and goodbye.